I'm not suggesting we'd have to go towards a route of independence in order to reduce our prices. The prices will be set on a global basis. But I do believe that from a strategic standpoint, the prospect of potentially having a significant slowdown in our economy because of a shutoff of oil in any place of the world, that's something that has to concern us. And at the same time, the things we do to create energy independence also allow us to put less carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. There are multiple reasons for us saying we want to be less dependent on foreign energy and develop our own sources. That's the real key, of course. Additional sources of energy here, as well as more efficient use of energy. That will allow the world to have less oil being drawn down from the various sources it comes without driving prices to too high a level. It'll keep people, some of whom are not real savory characters, from getting too wealthy and having an influence on our foreign policy. So for all good reasons, improving our economy, making us more independent on a foreign policy basis, and potentially reducing the warming of the planet, it's a good idea to become more energy independent.
In terms of potential climate change, and I know there's still a debate about all that, but insofar as the debate stands today, do you favor carbon caps? Do you favor carbon taxes?
Well, at this stage, we're going to look at what's the best way to incentivize more efficient use of energy. Right now, as I indicated, we're using CAFE standards, and we'll see if there are better measures. But I have to tell you that we're going to see the world adopt measures that allow us to develop our energy without having to rely on sources that are unreliable. So we'll evaluate those measures. I have to tell you, with regards to global warming, that's something which, you're right, the scientists haven't entirely resolved, but no question about one thing: it's getting warmer, and there are a lot of good reasons for us to use less energy, to use it more efficiently, and to develop sources here in this country that could allow us to be more independent of forces.
So, as I hear it, you're leaving the door open to possible carbon cap or carbon tax.
Oh, I'm not a man that favors taxes, and so I'm not going to make a statement of that nature. But I can tell you that I don't close off inquiry and discussion on a lot of topics, and I'm willing to talk to people about their perspectives. But taxes and gas taxes are not something that I'd normally be inclined to. But there are other ideas that are out there that have been floated of different kinds. And I want to make sure that we've heard those and considered them before we make a final decision as a nation as to how we're going to create the incentives that improve our efficiency in terms of the use of our energy and stimulate the development of new technologies so we can create new sources of energy.
One of your senior economic advisors, Greg Mankiw from Harvard University, former President Bush economic advisor, he is pushing very hard for a $1 increase in the gasoline tax. Since he's close to you, would you go for a $1 rise in the gas tax nationwide?
Well, I think that would terrify everybody in the whole country. A gas tax of that nature, I think that's not something that's going to be politically acceptable to the American people. And so we're going to have to sit down and talk about the widest array of incentive programs to encourage people to move towards more fuel-efficient homes and cars and to develop more sources of clean energy here and renewable sources. In my own state, one of the things I proposed was saying that if you buy a high mile-per-gallon vehicle, you don't pay sales tax or excise tax on it. That's the kind of additional incentive that moves people towards more efficient vehicles. And those are the kinds of incentives I think that have more promise.